opened the paint up for him, and he's flourishing. And I think his ability now to stretch the defense, put the ball on the floor, and just be an overall great athlete has helped this Georgia Tech team. Let's see if he does enough tonight to get them over the hump.
Sean Padula and the Hokies, 15-10 overall, 5-9 in the ACC. Joe Lunardi right now says they are considered for his fields. They are the 11th team out in Lunardi's mind, and this is a game they have to win.
No question. If they have any hopes to finish this season like they did last year and get to the NCAAs, this is a must-win game for the Hokies.
Slick alternate uniforms for Georgia Tech here at home. They start out with Lance Terry missing from deep. And we show you the Virginia Tech starters. Once again, no Darius Maddox. So another start for the freshman MJ Collins. Basile's now the scoring leader, and Padula gets 15.5 per game as the sophomore point guard.
Both teams coming out strong defensively. This Georgia Tech team defensively has gotten better.
Here's MJ Collins driving, and Basile follows it up. And now Georgia Tech to check out their starters. We told you it's small ball. Lance Terry's been a major key as well. And no Davon Smith for Georgia Tech in this one. He hurt his ankle again yesterday at practice, so he is out for the Jackets.
And they're going to miss him.
What a move by Javon Franklin.
That's what has happened since Lance Terry's come back in the lineup, as we talked about in the opener. Javon Franklin, the paint just opens up now. It's not clogged up. So now, if you pressure him, he just can put it on the floor like that and just drive right by you.
You talked about trying to solve Georgia Tech's defenses. Defense has been better, like you said, for the Jackets, and they're going to play a ton of them. Mutts banging in the post, and a foul is called. So there's Josh Pastner. Would you agree that between him and then Mike Young on the other side, we've got the coaches with the most defensive options in Pastner, and Mike Young with the biggest offensive playbook?
We do. Everyone knows who plays against the Mike Young coach team that he runs so many plays. It forces you to focus on your defensive philosophy and your technique. You just got to stay dialed in. You can't guard everything. And I don't think anyone changes defenses as much as Georgia Tech does. I mean, they go from man, they go to 1-3-1, 2-3 zone. They'll run some triangle and two. They'll mix up quite a bit of different defenses tonight. Let's see which one they stick with. Which one bothers Virginia Tech?
And Josh Pastner always does that. But we asked him today, even more so today,
yes.
And he said yes, because he's trying to get the Hokies out of rhythm.
Well, I think they're embracing the role of the spoiler. Plus, they're getting better. I mean, this is the team to start the year. I know they've had suffered some losses early, but this team is playing good basketball right now.
Miles Kelly on the drive, had it roll off. Franklin an offensive rebound, and then Mutts stripped him. Oh, good find, Padula for Basile.
That's been his biggest adjustment. I think early on he was a guy that everyone considered playing on the perimeter. He is now punishing smaller guys, and his ability to post up inside and the willingness to post up inside has really given his team, the Hokies, a step toward, again, making that adjustment to get to the NCAA tournament.
Kyle Sturdivant from straight on for three.
Kyle's another guy that benefited from the small ball lineup. He's a double-figure scorer as well, and senior from hometown.
At 5 points against Wake Forest in that close loss Saturday. Before that, 3 straight in double figures. Basile, yeah, he can still do it on the outside too.
Yeah, don't forget about him out there. He's only shooting 39%. I mean, not many guys have a 5-man that can do that.
Oh, and he goes up and gets the block at the rim.
Now, that's not what you're expecting him to do, to meet you at the square.
Mutts on the drive. Franklin got a piece of it, and then off Mutts, and it belongs to Georgia Tech.
It's great defensive possession there. Just get it out of here.
Flying.
Basile attacking the paint. I mean, he's protecting the paint there.
And he's got all 7 as well. Kelly steps out. You said he's got to have a big game tonight.
He needs to have a big game. He's got a lot of different guys going, and Miles Kelly's in a little bit of a shooting slump. It's great for him to see the first one go in. He is their leading scorer.
At nearly 13 a game. Franklin got the tip. Deebo Coleman pushes. Sturdivant rises. Knocks down another.
Their transition has been better. We've watched them the last couple of games, and they've outscored their opponent in transition. You know, for a team that struggled to score with the small ball lineup, it's allowed them to get out in transition. And
Basile, he's got all 9 for the Hokies.
I mean, his willingness to be down there on that block and identifying, he's just so much bigger than Javon Franklin, and he's going at him inside.
Franklin is listed at 6'7", Basile at 6'9".
That's being kind.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, I think he's, well, with the hairstyle, he's 6'7", I think we'll say.
Yeah, Josh Pastner said earlier this year it might be more like 6'5" as Mutts scores off the high-low.
That's the guy I think they're going to have the most difficult time with matching up with Justyn Mutts. I mean, he plays a lot bigger as well than his actual size, and with the 4-guard lineup, one of the guards is going to have to guard him. So watch more of the high-low action with them. You can see a concerted effort by the Hokies to go inside.
Coleman comes up short off the back cut. Plenty of offense so far, and Basile had it stripped. It'll stay with Virginia Tech on the other side. We've got plenty of offense out of the gates first 5 minutes on the Flats. Since that 7-game losing streak in ACC action, we told you Joe Lunardi says they are considered right now his 11th team out, so to speak. And this is a quad 3 game that they cannot afford to lose, and they're on the road again. And remember that win they had in South Bend, Indiana on Saturday, their first road win of the season in early February, if you can believe that.
Well, they're going to have to change some things. Again, they're going to have to go on the road, finish out strong this year. As Mike Young told us earlier today that, you know, they spent all the extra money that they had.
Yeah.
You know, they built up so much equity early in the season with such a strong start, and then they lose 7 straight. And now they're figuring things out. They're defending better. They won 4 of their last 6, and they're going to need another strong finish like they had a year ago if they want to get back in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that's how Mike Young put it to us today. Exactly right. He said we had a whole lot of house money built up in early January. And what do you tell us? I hate giving back house money.
No one likes giving back house money. And Young said he hates it more than anyone. So
he stood up as if he was at the blackjack table, and he mentioned that in particular.
Well, they got to get through tonight. Then they got some slut in the head with Pitt and Miami at home, and those are must-win games as well.
And then after that, just a trip to Cameron.
Yeah, why not?
Shapadula, no.
Hello.
And Mutts on the follow.
Watch ahead, Justyn Mutts.
Hey now. Lynn Kidd is defending Jordan Mecca, a couple of reserve bigs, one on each side, into the game off the bench.
It's got to be a concerted effort if you're Georgia Tech of boxing out and rebounding. They're getting hurt early here.
Tough shot, no. Deebo Coleman, and then Mecca was the last to touch it after this slam.
Somebody better put a body on this young man. He is taking no prisoners flying in. Miles Kelly, this was happening when you don't box out, my man. Small ball lineup, you got to get in there and put your body on someone, zone or man.
Yeah, Mutts looked right down at Miles Kelly as well after the flush. Lynn Kidd on the face-up, no.
Tech seems to be matching up a little bit. Where the ball goes into the middle of that zone, they seem to be matching up more and more man-to-man, trying to identify, find the shooters for Virginia Tech.
Kidd clears the start of a miss. Couture can't knock it down. 42% from deep, second best in the ACC, only behind NC State's Casey Morsell. Start of it on a step back. Comes up empty. Well, Davon Smith, we told you, is out today with the ankle injury. Also missed a game a couple of weeks ago with the same issue to the same ankle. And Josh Pastner said to us this afternoon, when it rains, it pours.
It's a big loss because I don't think there's a player in the league as dynamic as he is in transition. I mean, guys like him, they got a skill set you can't teach. An open floor, they just give you that one-on-one ability. When the offense breaks down, just give him the ball, he can go make a play. And they don't have anyone else on their team that does what he does. It's a big loss for Yellow Jackets.
Jalen Moore, 14 in white, has just checked into the game, and Josh Pastner singled him out in front of the whole team at the end of shoot-around today and said, no reason you can't have a double-double in this game.
Well, they got to win that matchup. Right now, they're losing it with the small ball lineup because they punish him inside. So he has to play bigger than his actual size.
Here he is handling and now dropping it off for Miles Kelly as the drought continues offensively for Georgia Tech. Kelly, short, long rebound to Terry. Lines it up.
Basketball guys always reward you. You work hard enough, get an offensive rebound. Lance Terry knocks down an open three at the top of the key.
He's been huge in both of Georgia Tech's ACC wins this season. 19 points and the game-winning bucket last week against Notre Dame, and a big day in the win over Miami. Basile couldn't follow it. 2 and done for Virginia Tech.
Great job by Georgia Tech. They're getting wide in that 1-3-1, eliminating that corner three. We talked about when you want to hurt this defense, you get to the corners. They're doing a great job of taking that away.
Deebo Coleman in the mid-range. What defense do you think is best for Georgia Tech against the Hokies offensively?
Well, you don't know because I think a lot of teams are afraid. The one thing I like about Josh Pastner is that he's not afraid to run zone no matter who they're playing against. And people just make the assumption because the team has three-point shooters that you shouldn't run zone. And you just don't know how they're shooting. And right now, you know, Virginia Tech is not knocking down those threes from behind the line. They're 1 of 5 right now. So the zone is effective.
Josh Pastner told his team at the end of shoot-around today, communication's going to be their biggest key because of how much they're going to change defense.
Yes. And then they're going to switch some. So when you got the 4 guards, it doesn't matter who guards who. You just got to switch. They just got to have a big body on the bigs inside. And right now, this Virginia Tech Hokie team is really big.
Basile off the turnover, right back from Georgia Tech. And now a drop-off for John Camden, who missed it at the rim.
Yellow Jackets got lucky with that one. Careless with the basketball, and Basile lays it off to Camden, and he missed the lefty lay.
There's Mecca getting considerable first half run for Georgia Tech off the bench.
They're trying to pressure the high post pass.
Foul is called on John Camden, and it sends us to a timeout. Georgia Tech by 3 at home against the Hokies. Pastner's got his team playing a whole lot better over the last couple of weeks. They've got the lead on Virginia Tech, and we told you about the small ball.
Right.
Last 3 games coming into tonight, these 6 guys have played about 90% of Tech's minutes.
It's interesting to see now because with Davon Smith out, you know, not having him available today is forcing Coach Pastner to go into his bench. And we've seen Mecca play a little bit earlier, and he hasn't played much. We still hadn't seen Rodney Howard, so be interesting to see. He's continuing with the small lineup. He's got 5 guards out there essentially, and they've scored offensively. And right now, they're doing a pretty solid job on the defensive glass.
We talked to Javon Franklin today after shoot-around, and we talked about that lineup, and specifically with the offense. And
right.
He said they're just moving the ball a whole lot better.
So it gives him space. You know, he gets to catch it at the free throw line area. He likes to catch at the pinch post there to start their offense. And it gives him space. We saw it with the first basket of the game with him driving to the rim.
Jalen Moore passed it up for Lance Terry with a burst. And now back out Moore. Shot clock winding down, and Moore, did he get it off? No. It's a shot clock violation. Well, Josh Pastner, we said they're playing better. They got the win last week against Notre Dame and then a 1-point loss in Winston-Salem on Saturday. And boy, was he frustrated at the end of that.
Well, rightfully so. That's a game that they had. They just got the ball in bounds. It would have been a foul and just ended the game, and they were unable to close it. I mean, that's just what happens when your team is not confident in closing out games. And another inside basket there. Pretty easy lay there by Grant Basile.
He's got 11. Kelly, no. Rebound secured by Couture. And just to put a bow on that loss in Winston-Salem, Josh Pastner, he made a beeline for the officials after the game. And he told us today that there was a cop there, and he told the cop, I don't want to spend the rest of my night in Winston-Salem.
No.
He was very appreciative of the officials, and Jim Phillips' directive about commenting on officials after the game.
Well, you know, everyone kind of says they want the players to play the game, but you got to operate in the rules, and when the official makes a call, and I've never seen one take it away when they've made it, so
no,
just got to go with it. And it's a hard job, it really is.
Absolutely.
Seeing things at live time and game speed.
Deebo Coleman with the shot clock winding down.
Nice runner, getting to his right hand. He's a big body guard, and when he drives left there, spins back, he gets his defender on his hip.
Basile carving out space over the top of Mecca.
Grant Basile is eating, and eating well so far in this first half.
Get your Bojangles.
I gotta get you some too. We gotta get you some Bojangles before you get out of here, man.
Subtle nod. Feed me. Kelly.
Hello.
Oh!
Wow, it's Kelly with a nice reverse lay there.
He's got 5, leading scorer, like you said. Couture on a drive and a kick for Collins. Short. Mutts on the second and third effort.
A couple of offensive rebounds that the Hokies hadn't been able to finish inside after they've gotten it.
Good hands by Basile. This is nifty.
Look at the backdoor cut there, gets it. This MJ impersonation with the reverse lay there. Got that. I would say I could jump like that, but I never could even on my best day. It's great hang time, great athletic finish there by Miles Kelly. It's great to see him get going here. He's struggled quite a bit lately, and good to see the ball go through the basket for him.
He's talked about how teams have played him tighter as his sophomore season has unfolded and how he started the year.
Well, Mike DeVoe was the guy a year ago that, you always got a guy that they scheme. And coming into this year, he was a guy on the scouting report as a freshman that had upside, but now they're scheming him. And a lot of guys are struggling with that. I think Sean Padula is getting that with Virginia Tech. Such a dominant start to the season. Now teams are scheming him, and he's starting to settle back into his role of just running the team and letting the offense come to him. But it's an adjustment being on the scouting report and then the team scheming you and trying to, you're the focal point of them stopping you. And it's an adjustment for players.
With Kelly out right now, it's Franklin, Moore, Coleman, Terry, and Sturdivant, the 5 for Josh Pastner. Franklin backs it out for Coleman. Yes!
He is starting to shoot the 3-ball well. We talked about it. I love the mix-up with him of mixing up the paint, three-point shooting. Oh, he's in the past, I thought he settled for jump shots. Now he's attacking the paint, and it's off to a good start here.
5 threes for a team that makes 7 a game. Padula, tough one. He gets it to go.
You wouldn't know if Bashan Padula really is productive in the post. I mean, he will post you up, and very comfortable for a small guard to be in there playing amongst the trees.
His first points of the game. And now Elijah Poteet picks up another foul. That's his second. Georgia Tech leads by 4.
He's well on his way. He said he was going to give it a shot. I think he's well on his way to he's scoring 33 tonight. He's scoring inside. He's scoring out. He's having his way right now. There's no matchup right now on the floor for Georgia Tech against him, and he's having his way, setting the tone. And 6 of 9 from the floor, and he's carrying his team right now. He needs to find somebody off the bench to give him some help, but he is well up to the task, and he's turned himself into a heck of a player.
We asked him earlier today what's been the biggest difference, and he said confidence as this year's gone along. And we asked the same thing of Mike Young, and he put it a little differently. He said the point guard relationship for Basile with Padula, that has improved over the course of the season. And then he thought about it some more, and he said, you know what? Grant Basile's just playing harder than he was.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we talked about in the open. Just the adjustment from a mid-major to high major, particularly for a big. Sometimes there's a physical adjustment, and having the confidence when you're playing in this league and you're playing against guys like Armando Bacot and all these guys, you just need a little confidence, and he definitely has that now.
First Virginia Tech player with back-to-back 30-point games since 2003. Sturdivant couldn't beat the shot clock, and a nice follow by Jalen Moore, doing exactly what Josh Pastner expected out of him.
Coach challenged him to get double-digit rebounding, and you don't have to get just defensive rebounds. I'm sure he doesn't mind getting the offensive glass as well.
He said plays like that at the rim, and then Coleman picked it from Collins. Sturdivant, a drop-off for Moore, and he is fouled by Collins.
It's a great job at Georgia Tech. They're out there wide in the wings. They're getting deflections, creating offensive opportunities in fast break, giving them chances on the offensive glass like that. Just a better team. I mean, they're just a better team than they were. Throw the record out. This Georgia Tech team is going to be a tough out for the remainder of the year.
puts Jalen Moore at the line, sophomore from Gardendale, Alabama. Hey, ACC Unity Week tips off Saturday. We've got an ACC and men's basketball double dip for you. Pitt at Virginia Tech. Pitt 12-3, half game ahead of Virginia to start the night. Virginia's at Louisville. And then Clemson at Louisville. Clemson is the first team out right now, according to Joe Lunardi.
I think some teams, they're one of the teams that are struggling because of their recent skid. I think it's also their non-conference schedules catching up a little bit. But I think they'll do enough. They'll close the season strong. They're playing well right now, up against 14 against Florida State.
Goaltending on Jalen Moore.
Clemson team hit a tough stretch. I think they're home now and looking to get back on a winning track.
And how about Pitt at 12-3, like we said? Another win last night.
Yeah.
Blake Hinson hit 6 more threes.
You know, the most impressive thing is that I think they're 6-1 in a road in the ACC. You think about that. Like, road wins are just so hard to come by, and they're better on the road than they've been at home. And I think their schedule is just favorable for those guys. I think they'll get a chance to run the table and finish with a first or second, if not get the regular season title. They got a legitimate shot at it. It'll come down to that game in Miami. Last game of the year.
Yeah, what a huge one that is in Coral Gables to finish off the season.
Yeah, and that's provided they don't have a lead. I mean, they don't have a 2-game lead because then it wouldn't matter. I just think that their schedule is favorable and the experience in their guard play makes them just a difficult team. And they got closers. I mean, I think J.B. Burton is as good of a player and worthy of all conference accolades.
Here in Atlanta, it's Georgia Tech by 5. Good to see the Kyle Sturdivant's all right after getting some medical attention on the sideline. He loves that spot, missed it. Franklin battles and tips it back out to Sturdivant. Coleman rises, too strong. And now, there we go, more blood?
Yeah, he's
more
bleeding.
blood from Kyle Sturdivant.
Gonna have to sub him out. At least he got a shot up before he went out of the game. It didn't stop him from getting another 3 up. He's off to a good start shooting the basketball here.
And a shot from his spot.
Yeah, well, he's knocked down 2 threes and missed it from his patent mid-range shot.
Basile, good pass for Mutts at the rim.
Those two do a really good job of finding each other, and that's what Basile provides. He can play outside, and you have to guard him. You have to get out there and put pressure on him. If not, he's showing you his ability to find teammates as well.
Franklin spinning out of that high post spot in the Princeton offense. Moore tries to follow, still battles for it and gets wrapped up by Basile. And Jalen Moore's activity making a difference off the Georgia Tech bench.
He has answered the challenge there from his head coach. I mean, Jalen Moore is active on the offensive glass, getting his hands on basketballs and just playing really physical inside. For a team that's undersized and playing with the small ball lineup, like Coach said, he's going to need him to play with, bigger than his size, and he's up to the task so far.
And we quote what Josh Pastner said to Jalen Moore. Your energy and rebounding have to show up. Shot blocking, making things happen at the rim. You have a great opportunity tonight, but you have to go make it happen. And he said that to Jalen in front of the entire team at the end of shoot-around.
He did, and he's doing his job so far. He's really active in the awesome glass. Now, I don't know how many shots he's going to block tonight. I mean, he's a little bit undersized in there, but hey, he's answered the bell right now. He really has, and they're going to need his activity. Again, he's benefiting. The paint's opening up for everyone, and the balanced scoring is what you see so far from the Tech team and what they'll need.
Man, you're just the hype police on everyone tonight, huh?
Yeah,
Oh! Counted for Grant Basile and the foul. And now a conference between Ted Valentine and Matt Porter, and they do count it.
They got to count it with the scoop and lay. Basile fakes the dribble handoff, takes the bump from Kelly, closes his eyes and throw it up against the glass, and it goes in.
They're going to come to the monitor now just to check who the foul is on.
Yeah, I think it's Miles Kelly here from the right side there. Unless he called the push from Deebo, I think it's Miles Kelly on the trip. Basile's flexing on the ground. I would too if I had 15 of my team's 25 points.
Hey, while we have a moment, we remind you that Thursday night women's basketball, it's a doubleheader for you. Tonight, Latson leads number 24 Florida State against Syracuse at 6 Eastern, and then Deja Kelly and number 19 Carolina against Diamond Johnson and NC State right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. So Ted Valentine and Matt Potter talk things over and assess the foul.
Changed it.
So they say it's on the floor.
On the floor.
Huh. When Ted Valentine came over, he said to the Virginia Tech bench that he was checking who it was on.
Yes.
Entry for Basile. He missed it. Mike Young wanted a foul call there. Terry on the baseline. Back out Kelly. Connects.
Great drive. Great drift to the corner by Kelly. Knocked down his second three.
And we get a timeout with 5 minutes to go, taken by Mike Young. We'll take it as well. Gone for 30 seconds, then back to Atlanta. Originally given Grant Basile the bucket, and then they took it away.
Yeah.
And then Basile did not get fouled in the post, and just like that, Georgia Tech up 7, and Mike Young needed a timeout.
It's a 5-point swing, potentially a 6-point swing. I mean, he would have went to the line for 3 points himself, and goes down, and then Miles Kelly knocks down another 3 here. And see what the Hokies come up with out of the timeout. They're struggling to score. This changing defenses just really throws you off, and it looks like Georgia Tech's going to their triangle in 2 here. They're guarding Basile, and they're guarding
Padula.
Hunter Couture. Yeah, Padula and Hunter Couture, yeah.
This is something that Josh Pastner worked on at length with his team today, and they were content to give up shots like that from the perimeter to Justyn Mutts.
There's 3 guys on the floor now they got to find.
Franklin met by Basile.
His ability to protect the rim has been so impressive. You know about his offensive game, and we know Mutts is an elite defender, but Basile's rim protection has just been outstanding so far.
Same with Javon Franklin, who gets a block. Franklin bounces for more off a great cut. Mutts commits his first.
They're both controlling the game, just doing it in different ways. Javon Franklin here just doing a great job finding his teammates. He does that a lot at the point of the Princeton offense. He's the guy they run their offense through. He just does so much for this team. I think both the matchup of these bigs will be interesting to see how it goes. Right now, Basile's dominating on the offensive end, but Javon Franklin is doing so many different things as well.
Franklin's got 5 rebounds and a couple of assists. And a nice find for Moore, who's got 6 rebounds and 4 points. And he looks pretty exhausted as he made his way to the free throw line, getting these heavy minutes here in the first half.
Look at the lineup that they have now. You're talking about the small ball lineup of Georgia Tech, but now Basile's in and he's moved up to the 3. So you got Lynn Kidd in at the 5, Justyn Mutts at the 4. Because they're starved for offense right now in this zone, and the matchups that they're giving and the looks is just giving so many different problems, and they need Basile shooting. Now he's the guy that they're guarding in the triangle.
Kidd pivoting, and he's swatted by Franklin. Goodness.
Franklin blocked that to South Carolina right now.
Wow.
that went across half court.
Padula no. Coleman runs it down. The Jackets push. Coleman attacks, and he gets bumped by Couture. Picks up his first foul. Javon Franklin, you said, controlling it on one end, and then this kind of defense as well.
Yes, he jumped up and sent that to Cartersville. Look at that. I mean, that ball flies out of there. Got a ball game here in Midtown.
And all, changing up his defenses. If you had triangle and 2 coming out in the first half, collect your winnings.
Hey, I don't know if many, but he's done that in the past. I mean, I don't think it's anything new. I mean, if you play against this team, he's known for his zone defenses and switching man-to-man. I thought last week against Wake, they really got after Wake on the defensive end, playing their man-to-man, and they were solid in it and didn't run as much zone in the second half. But I think the key is even in their 1-3-1, they're wide. They're taking away that pass to the corner, which has hurt them. And they're finding the shooters. And Virginia Tech is not shooting the ball well from behind the line. They're 1 of 8 here early, and Yellow Jackets are 6 of 12, man. Who'd have thought that? Wow.
Again, they average 7. And by the way, on the defense for Josh Pastner, he doesn't call it triangle and 2. He calls it tandem and triangle.
Well, everyone has a different name. No one calls it triangle and 2.
We were trying to keep up with all the nomenclature earlier today. Padula missed it and then tipped home. Kidd and Franklin both went up for it at the rim.
I think that's where they're going to have to punish this Georgia Tech team, and particularly with this lineup that's out there. They're just so big. Again, they have the Justyn Mutts, Basile, and Lynn Kidd.
So would you stay big? Collins out right now?
I don't think it really, you just got to stick to what you do well.
They get Franklin for a foul, and Hunter Couture is down.
He plays so hard. He plays so physical. I think he just ran into the screen. And I think he just hit his shoulder. Just where they matched up. I don't think there was anything intentional. And I think he's asking him, what did I do? He just caught him with his shoulder in his face. And I can tell you from a guard's perspective, when you're running through screens, smaller guys always take the brunt of that. I don't think it's much to see. It wasn't any malicious. He just stood there, and I didn't even think it was really illegal to screen. I just think it was, he hurt him. Tough guy like that's not going to come out of the game. He's as tough as they come, and glad he's okay.
He is football tough from his days playing football growing up. Remember, he missed the 4 games earlier this year with a fractured elbow. Oh, man, Justyn Mutts, crossover to slam.
Mutts said, jump up and block that.
Justyn Mutts has had some highlight reel plays in this first half, and the Hokies are within 6, approaching 2.5 to go until intermission. Coleman underneath.
Great job, great find there. Deebo Coleman has just been mixing it up there. You hadn't seen him post up very often, and that's a great play. Coming out to take advantage of his physicality.
He's got 11 playing inside out like you've always wanted him to do.
Yes. I think he's settled too much in the past, and glad to see he's mixing it up.
Long 2 for Sean Padula. And Mike Young's barking at his bench to maybe amp up some defensive intensity.
They're playing for a lot right now. And this is where they got to get better. They got to get better on the defensive end.
Moore. Can't knock it down. He's only made 4 of them this year. Padula shut off by Kelly. Now Coleman switches on. Couture triggers. Too strong. Franklin comes up to get it. And the Princeton action for Georgia Tech. Now Kelly. Couture presses out on him. Coleman's had a half. And it continues. 14 for Deebo Coleman.
Deebo Coleman is starting to figure some things out. When this young man balances the scoring attack from the inside and outside, he's a handful. And he's shooting 32% from 3 on the year. And if he's knocking down shots, look out.
Basile for Kidd. And Franklin the rebound.
You want your guys to take open shots, but these teams have scouted each other so well. When you get to this point in the year, there's no secrets. And the guys, they want to scheme and take shots away from. They're doing so, and they're forcing the role guys to take shots. They want Lynn Kidd to take mid-range shots. They want Justyn Mutts on the other end. They don't want that guy shooting threes.
Miles Kelly with the 8th Georgia Tech 3 of this half, and the lead is a dozen. Mutts with a handoff for Kidd. Terry got it off. And it's a 10-point halftime lead for Georgia Tech here on the flats.
8 threes here in the first half by Georgia Tech. Up 10 here. Got a great second half on the way.
We'll go to the break, and then after, in the studio, Drew Carter, Luke Hancock, and Joel Berry in the studio.
Made at halftime to kind of figure out, what to do against this Georgia Tech defense. I think the changing of the defense, and it's always hard for guards because you don't know how to attack it. You don't know what they're in. You got to get your teammates involved in it, and right now they're coming out with an aggressive 1-3-1 here.
With Jalen Moore at 6'7" at the top of it for Josh Pastner and his group defensively. Virginia Tech works it underneath to Grant Basile, and he gets the roll, and he's up to 15 points.
They're always going to look to put Justyn Mutts in the middle of any zone because he's the best passer on his team. He leads his team in assists, and what's an underrated stat for him is he's close to having 400 assists in his career. And that's not often from a four-man at any level at any school for that matter. That's just difficult to do.
Yeah, he's got 5 already here in this one. Coleman
wow.
is feeling it.
Wow, heat check. And right now, if you're Virginia Tech, you got to be concerned because it's just, you come into a game and you're scheming a team, and that's the way to answer it. If you got a guy like Hunter Couture, someone has to get hot. He or Sean Padula has to start knocking down shots. And right now, they hadn't needed to guard the guards of Virginia Tech because the front line has done so much damage.
Again, first points for Couture, who didn't come off the floor in the first half for Mike Young. Lance Terry got run over, setting a screen. And the foul goes against the Hokies on MJ Collins.
Yeah, you love the physicality. He scored a couple of times. He's trying to get through the screen. And hey, he's tough and physical. We can say that. No broke nose or a lost tooth won't change that about the young man.
MJ Collins has been in some collisions now over the last few weeks.
He has.
By the way, he's playing in front of 8 family members, he told us earlier today. He actually lived in Atlanta for a couple of years, and Clover, South Carolina is only 4 hours away from here on the flats.
He has a broken nose, as you can see with the mask, and we talked about how difficult it is to play with that thing.
He's got the rebound. Yeah, he said all the sweat gets in there. You played with it before.
I've had a teammate break my nose as well, and Justyn Mutts accidentally broke his. And big guy that played in San Antonio, you may know, is Duncan, has broke mine in a game actually once. And
intentionally.
Maybe. I think he did.
Mutts gambled, and Franklin makes him pay.
Yes, you gamble for it like that. You sell out and reach around, trying to make a play. Didn't happen, and give up an easy one.
The lead is 10 again for Georgia Tech in a game that for Virginia Tech, we told you, for their NCAA tournament hopes, they got to have this one. Basile off the high-low, no.
Basile can just take his time when he gets it there. I don't think he needs to rush. And if he gets his body on Javon Franklin, he won't be able to jump to block it.
Mutts keeps gambling. You can sense some frustration building for the Hokies.
He's just trying to play with a level of desperation to make things happen. Wow.
Moore swirled it out.
Yeah. It's only made 4, but he's shooting it well. But he's playing well. I mean, he has 6 rebounds and 3 offensive, so he's earning the right to take those shots.
Collins into the mid-range, and it swirled out on him. Kelly off the screen. 2 strong rebound Mutts.
Got to be careful here if you're Georgia Tech. You're coming down, you're taking 2 quick shots the last 2 possessions down. This is how you allow teams to get back in the game.
Basile, no. And Mutts kept it alive, but Terry secures it. Fine line, right? Because you said transition is important for Georgia Tech offensively.
It is, but the last 2 possessions, they're taking quick shots. And now you see Coach Pastner kind of yelling, hey, let's set our offense here. And let's execute in the half court.
Foul is called against Virginia Tech defensively.
Yeah, I think he got Hunter Couture cutting, Miles Kelly cutting away from the ball, and Hunter's real physical.
Mike Young goes to the bench. He gets Lynn Kidd to replace Grant Basile and give the big fellow blow. Terry needs somewhere to go to get this in, and he finds Kelly. Tried to save it off Couture, and a turnover.
Hunter Couture defense is just so physical, and He is good of a 3-and-D guy as there is in the country.
Denied by Franklin fronting Kidd.
Just gave it right back to him. No need to press if you're Virginia Tech. You're trying to punish him inside, and Franklin is a tough guy to throw the lob over top of.
Couture takes a charge. Rinse and repeat.
We talked about he's a 3-and-D guy. To knock down a possession, last steals in the last 2 possessions.
The lead is 10. Javon Franklin doing up 3 blocks, 3 steals for Javon Franklin, who in his last 4 coming in, again, was doing everything for Josh Pastner.
And he's just doing what he's been doing. I mean, he is doing it all here. And again, that small ball lineup, we've talked about it a bunch, but he has benefited. I think the team, the guards around him, has opened up the paint. He's able to knock down that 15-footer. He's able to drive. I think his ability on the defensive end to play just bigger than what he is. It's just the most thing that's just most surprising, I'd say, that's helping this team because they're really small. I mean, when he's out, even with him out there.
6th-year senior at his 4th school. He told us today his couple of years at Auburn, where he only scored 29 points total in 2 years, that motivated him, he told us, to get back to the high major level and to prove that he could play and play well at this level. And he's doing just that for Georgia Tech here down the stretch. Collins had a tough shot that wouldn't go, and now Georgia Tech runs. Good hands by Couture, but look out!
You saw
Take
it coming.
off for Javon
Wow.
Franklin.
You saw that one coming. Just the big guy rewarded for running the floor, my goodness. So they're back to their triangle and 2.
Franklin matched up with Mutts. Franklin got a piece. Mutts hits the deck, no call. Mutts on the face-up short. Kidd tried to save it. It's Georgia Tech ball with all the momentum.
Up past Kelly, gets deflected right in hands, and nothing MJ Collins could do but just stand there and watch. Javon Franklin jump to the penthouse to finish that one. My goodness.
That is a poster.
Yeah, that's
going on a dorm room wall.
That one will get a lot of tweets and follows tonight.
He's got the ball in his hands again. Sets a screen for Kelly. On the pitch back for Moore. Shot clock at 10. Franklin wants it. Going to work on Kidd. With 2 more.
And he is, again, Josh is hanging up a sign that they're going to go back. They're going to stay in this triangle. They're going to guard the shooters. And I think coach is going to have to, they're going to dare him to make those. They're going to live with the shot.
Mutts and air ball.
They got to get Basile in instantly. I mean, he got to come in. It's just not the same team offensively without him.
Stuck out to you coming in that the 3-point shooting just not the same as last year for the Hokies.
No. I mean, Couture is the only guy. I mean, Maddox, who's not on the team right now, is not with the team, I should say, is shot 50% from threes down to 32. Padula, I think his is that he's being schemed, as we talked about. You know, last year he was a backup point guard. He was just a guy that was on the scouting report. He came out with his sophomore campaign, such a strong start to the year. Now he's the focal point of this team, and they're trying to scheme him, and he's struggling. I'm not struggling, but he's struggling from 3-point line. It's because of it. I think that's the difference in his drop.
Basile.
Not this guy, though.
A miss, though, and then run down by Kelly. And by the way, you mentioned Darius Maddox. He's not here for a 6th straight game due to a family matter.
Yeah.
We got word earlier today that he has returned to campus. The situation is improving, but he hasn't rejoined the team. So, again, we send our best to Darius Maddox and his family.
Yeah, he's a local DMV guy as well. I've followed his career for quite some time. I know he finished up in Oak Hill Academy, and you're just hoping everything and praying for he and his family, everything turns out well.
Largest lead of the game swells. Kelly on a tough shot on the baseline, and the lead is 16. Mutts, drop off Kidd. And Lynn Kidd draws a foul.
The question is he on the ground? Is he shooting too? I don't know if he got it up or not.
How about on the floor?
Yeah. Justyn Mutts is telling him to go up and dunk so you can get to the free throw line.
By the way, biggest comeback this year for the Hokies to come back to win a game. 10 points against Grambling State. They're down 16 here in ACC play.
Well, they got their big lineup out there now.
Padula can't hit. Kidd saves it.
Now they got to capitalize on some of these offensive rebounds they're getting.
Padula, no.
It's another one. They've gotten offensive rebounds, but they have not punished Georgia Tech with them. And if they're going to play with this lineup with their three biggest players on the floor, they're going to have to finish some of those offensive rebounds.
Yeah, to your point, 8 offensive rebounds, but 6.
Yes.
That's it, second chance points.
They're not, their game right now is being played. They're not punishing the Yellow Jackets for their lack of size.
Shot clock winding down on Moore. Franklin goes climbing, battles for a loose ball. Basile hits the deck and the Hokies have it. They need points. Basile fights it in for 2 and ends a scoring drought of about 6.5 minutes.
Someone on the offensive end is going to have to help Grant Basile out. I mean, he's doing it all.
Josh Pastner takes a timeout. We'll take it with him. The lead is 14. Josh Pastner and the Jackets playing some of their best ball of the season. Inside the Virginia Tech huddle, Mike Young trying to spur on his team, which right now, through 25 games, in a very similar position to where the Hokies found themselves last year. At that time, Lenardi had them 9th team out. Right now, we told you coming into tonight, 11th team out. What do you need to see from them down the stretch this season?
Well, it's got to change on the defensive end. And it's just, they're not shooting the ball tonight. I mean, defending, they're competing right now. Shots are not falling from the outside. And right now, there's just not much offense. Who do they go to? Who do they find offense with outside of Grant Basile? And Padula's not scoring as much. Couture's not scoring.
And Mutts makes a hustle play to get possession for the Hokies right into your lap.
Tried to pass me the ball. They heard me talk about lack of shooting. They wanted to give me the rock. Look at this. Watch the ball come right to my life. Did I flinch? You kidding me? It was a shot. See, they didn't show it. Ladies and gentlemen, you didn't see it on your TVs, but Justyn Mutts was passing me the ball, telling me he needed a shot.
Oh, great hustle play by Mutts. Padula gets banged and draws a foul.
But that's the type of defensive effort, yeah.
Trying to plead his case that he was shooting.
Of course he is. They're trying to get points. And
that's 3 on Javon Franklin with 12:21 to go.
He's going to leave him in right now. He's not going to take him out. He's going to go to the zone now to protect him in the middle of the defense here.
Basile, Poteet, and Mutts all in the game. Another one of those big lineups for Virginia Tech. And the zone trying to protect Franklin and cause confusion for the Hokies again. Padula steps into a 3.
Good for him to see knock one down. They were almost daring these guys to knock down perimeter shots.
16 points, by the way, was the largest lead Georgia Tech has had at any point in an ACC game this season. Virginia Tech's got it down to 11. Moore to the corner for Sturdivant. Padula hawking him. Entry for Franklin with 5 to shoot. Banging with Basile, and it rolled off.
Basile almost got stuck again trying to reach around. I don't know why they're trying to gamble so much to create steals on the post entries.
Basile post entry this time for Mutts. Going to work with a mismatch on Terry, and Mutts scores and a foul. And here come the Hokies.
Started on the defensive end. They turned it up. And Justyn Mutts been the guys. He's doing it on both ends right now. Getting in here, punishing the guard on the switch, telling Lance Terry he's just too small, my man. Cutting into that lead.
And he is on your all-Robin team.
He is. Because I think that, every team has a Batman, and these are the guys. I mean, they're all playing with all conference teammates. When you look at this, they're playing with all caliber, all ACC caliber guys. 4 of those guys definitely have first team all ACC teammates. I think the only one you can argue with is Justyn Mutts, but he has Sean Padula and Grant Basile.
Couture off the extra possession for the Hokies, and then Padula picks off Franklin's pass and rises. Left it short. Basile battles, and the Hokies have a 9-0 run. All started with the energy of the Hokies Robin, Justyn Mutts. a do-everything guy in his Virginia Tech career, fought for the extra possession, and then more of that from the Hokies.
He's single-handedly been so disruptive for this 9-0 run, and really he's doing it on the defensive end.
He's matched up with Terry and Mutts, adding to the highlight reel.
He has been suffocating on the defensive end in the last 4 possessions here. Lance thinks he has the angle, has him beat. Get that out of here.
He's on triple-double watch again after he almost had one in South Bend. He's got 12 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and that's a streak stopper from Jalen Moore.
Where their defense was igniting their offense, where their struggle has been is now that Georgia Tech has their defense set.
Mutts down the lane. And then picked off. Padula lays it in. Does Josh Pastner need a timeout?
Virginia Tech has just hit the button. Turn things on here on the defensive end.
And Pastner's not going to use one. It's a 14-2 run for Virginia Tech to get within 5. Sturdivant attacks. Franklin followed, and Padula reaches in.
Mutts just comes down the lane and attacking the rim the way he's been all night. He's put his head on the rim a couple of times tonight, and then Sean Padula just comes in early, takes the steal, and finishes himself. And they're competing. Those guys are tough defensively. There's no quit in this group. And we said it before. We knew they were down. This game's a long way from being over. And you got to wonder, too, Georgia Tech coming into this game was number 2 in bench scoring. And to be honest, Virginia Tech doesn't get much production from the bench. And just be curious to see how this continues as the game wears on.
Saturday afternoon, the #1 women's lacrosse team in the country headlines a top 10 matchup. It's the Tar Heels against #7 Florida in Chapel Hill, with our coverage starting at noon Eastern.
Still got chicken scratch handwriting. I don't know how you read that.
You didn't want to read that one, huh?
No, I can't read that. Your font's too small for me.
Javon Franklin missed both, and now Grant Basile with an offensive foul drawn by Kyle Sturdivant.
Yeah, I know you don't like it, but you know, the defensive defender, even though he's small, is entitled to that space. You can't go through him. You got to go around him. And no, Virginia Tech, right here in front of the Virginia Tech bench, they don't like it, but it's the right call.
As they try to fight back for what would be their biggest comeback of the season in a gotta-have-it game on the road. Virginia Tech contingent of fans getting loud here in Atlanta. Terry got free and hits.
Big shot. Justyn Mutts had to help on the lob. A big part of Georgia Tech's offense is on a single side ball screen. He gets the lob. Justyn Mutts helps. Lance gets out to the corner and knocks down the 3.
Padula with a deep one that wouldn't go.
You don't pay attention to this, but I can't tell you how impressive that rebound was.
How high he got?
Big guys don't rebound it above the rim. A lot of them wait till the ball comes to them. He went up, and I'm always impressed when guys do things like that. He went up above the rim and rebounded that. That's impressive.
Kind of like high-pointing the football, as Couture generates a tie-up with Kyle Sturdivant. It does stay with Georgia Tech. So you're saying just going up to meet that thing at its highest point?
Most guys don't attack the rim ball like that, and you know, something you see with bigs, and it's a skill set that not many bigs possess, and they wait on it to come to them. And Javon Franklin to be 6'7" with the mini fro, plays 6'10", 6'11". I mean, he's fun to watch.
Kelly off a curl. He's got 15.
They're in there. Pastner's yelling at him to change and to get back in their zone defense.
Shape-shifting defenses all night. Poteet is fouled by Franklin, and that is 4 on Javon Franklin
foul.
with 8+ minutes left. No, they're going to give it to Kelly. They just announced that it's on Miles Kelly instead. 3 on Kelly, and so that keeps Franklin with just 3 himself.
It's a big call.
Poteet 75% from the line this season. Good on the first. Let's see, who is it on?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not on Kelly.
No, it's not.
That should be 4 on Franklin.
That definitely should be 4 on Franklin. I thought maybe he came down and they called him on a reach, but.
Wow, so that is a bullet dodged for Georgia Tech. Josh Pastner and Javon Franklin, and then Poteet splits. Nine-point lead, 8 minutes to go.
I can't express how big that call is of not having a, because you would have had a decision to make if that was the 4th foul of Franklin.
I mean, he's off the floor right now. Coleman, tough shot, no.
Hunter Couture is a tough guy to try to take off the dribble. I mean, he's as good of an on-ball defender as there is in the country. You got to move him around.
Risky lob from Mutts for Basile. Start of it. No, rebound Mutts. Georgia Tech's bench was ready to erupt when Sturdivant let it fly. Tapped out by Kyle Sturdivant, and it'll belong to the Hokies on the other side. Virginia Tech trying to forge a comeback here on the road against Georgia Tech. 9 ACC losses, 7 of them by single digits. You see all these 2-possession games. Their other 2, in addition to those 7, by 10 points each. Everything's been close. And then on the Georgia Tech side, Josh Pastner has said to us that all of these 4 games he felt like could have been wins instead of just the one last week against Notre Dame.
You know, it's a big difference when you look at a losing record. I mean, sometimes teams struggle to learn how to win. I think this Georgia Tech team, I think their inability to be confident in late game situations hurt them last week against Wake Forest. And this Virginia Tech team is experienced, and they've just missed shots, and you expect them to be better in these late moments. But this team is coming on, but they have to get this game. They want to get themselves dancing in March.
Javon Franklin still on the bench for Josh Pastner out of the timeout. Basile threw a risky pass, and Mutts had it swirl out.
Officials are letting him play a little bit. Great find.
Poteet goes up to block more. Basile gets hit, and a foul on Jalen Moore.
That is a big possession there. I mean, to come down and looks like he has an uncontested dunk, and Poteet says, not here. Jalen Moore is trying to hustle, trying to get the ball back, commits the foul. Big defensive stop there.
All kinds of above-the-rim plays, offensively and defensively in this one.
Yeah, kind of plays you've been making in your men's league, right?
Missing layups.
He told me you were the Kobe stopper, man. You had a guy, you came in and stopped the guy that was making threes in your league, man.
No comment. Basile, oh, that one pops out on him. Hunts it down, can't follow. Mutts has it pop out as well. Oh, 3 golden opportunities, and now Terry accelerates. Picked off by Couture, and Sturdivant commits a foul after a mad scramble.
It's a hot potato, nobody wants it. But how many times has Virginia Tech had offensive tip-ins and rebounds and just unable to finish?
I mean, look where Couture comes from. That dude is special.
It's a big foul there. You had numbers, you had break, and you commit the foul. It's your 7th foul. You're putting Hunter Couture at the line. He's just being rewarded for his hustle there. And just what you expect from one of the leaders of the team.
74% Hunter Couture at the line for the 1-and-1. Makes the first. We remind you every Thursday, 10 Eastern, right after our women's basketball doubleheaders. The Nothing But Net crew is in action right here on ACCN and the ESPN app.
I could have read that.
You could handle that. Couture makes both 7-point games, 6.5 to go.
We got ourselves a ball game here.
Look at Justyn Mutts pick up in the backcourt on Deebo Coleman.
Mutts and Couture are 2 of the better on-ball defenders that you'll find anywhere.
Mutts has been gambling. Couture is on Miles Kelly, the leading scorer for Georgia Tech, who's got 15 today.
Just pass it. Miles Kelly's not beating him off the dribble.
Franklin back in on a turnaround, left it short, and Virginia Tech can make it a 2-score game. If you're flipping around and just joined us, they trailed by as many as 16. Couture can't connect. Poteet nearly had an offensive rebound, and a Virginia Tech foul goes on Justyn Mutts. No, rather, Elijah Poteet.
Javon Franklin's just playing like a man inside. He's just outman. He's battling the 3 big guys on the floor for Virginia Tech, and he's doing whatever it takes to get his hands on these rebounds. The guard's going to have to come in and help him, and Virginia Tech's going to have to find someone. They're going to have to knock down a perimeter shot or find another person. They got to get back to establishing, I think, Grant Basile. I mean, he had 13 in the first half. He only has 17 right now at the game. He's only 4 points in the second half, and he got a quick 13 in the first half.
Yeah, in the first 10 minutes and 20 seconds of game action, those 13 from Basile. Virginia Tech is extending. Terry is firing. Can't hit.
That was a mistake there. Went under screen and got caught. And Lance Terry's not the guy you want to give top of the key jump shots to.
On a night Georgia Tech has knocked down 10 triples. Mutts. Basile stayed patient, and there he is right on cue, up to 21 now.
Yeah, need to find him. The ball needs to touch his hands now for the remaining 5 minutes of this game. There's just not a matchup for him, for this Georgia Tech roster.
Franklin all the way outside the arc, midway through the shot clock, defended by Kidd. Kelly off a screen. Couture sticks with him. Start of it. Yes!
It's 11 threes here for Georgia Tech.
Only 32% this season, but coming in 7+ in 4 straight games and shooting even better today. Couture saw the opening. Basile on the baseline. Got his own miss, and Sturdivant stripped him. Mutts goes diving, and he got a timeout.
Great play. Just an outstanding play by Justyn Mutts, getting dirty on the floor, saving the possession for his team.
From Javon Franklin.
Just watch out below with the women and children in bed. Javon Franklin is just tearing rims down here in Midtown. I mean, how about the game he's having? And it's not a surprise to you and I. I mean, we've watched this young man the last couple of weeks, and just 2 points away from his 4 double-doubles. I mean, he's averaging that in the last 4 or 5 games, and it's just been outstanding.
Again, a guy who told us today that he wanted to prove himself at this level once again.
Yeah.
He started with a couple of years in junior college, and in the first game of his second season at JUCO as a sophomore, told us today, broke his leg.
Yeah.
Still ended up at Auburn for the next couple of seasons, but only scored not even 30 points in 2 seasons there, and then went to South Alabama last year, and now in his 1 season on the flats, boy, has he been good, especially in this second half of the season.
The second half of the season for him has been outstanding, and it's the reason why this Georgia Tech team is a tough out. I mean, they're, the second half of the ACC season, they've been playing really good basketball, and then when they went to this small ball lineup, it's only helped him more with the spacing of the paint, leaving it open and allowing him to drive and find teammates.
The officials were just double-checking a few different times during the break and then even just now out of the commercial, something related to fouls. We didn't get any word. It doesn't look like there have been any changes, and Lid Kidd scores, and it's down to 6 with 4 to go.
Let's see where Georgia Tech goes here. You're going to find him trying to get it in the pinch post there to Javon Franklin.
Deebo Coleman's got 17, Miles Kelly's got 15, and Lance Terry scores over the top of Basile. Justyn Mutts, meanwhile, has keyed the comeback, and yet again, he is flirting with a triple-double after he was 2 rebounds and 1 assist shy Saturday. Basile off the skip. Sturdivant swiped it from him, and then Sturdivant throws it out of bounds.
I think Basile thought that there was a foul there, and they've been letting him play a little bit. This game's been really physical. They're letting him play.
And remember what Georgia Tech its coaching staff said at shoot-around today, Julian Schwartz said to his team, this game is going to come down to physicality against Virginia Tech. He said, we've got to play this game with more force than them, and you saw it right there from start of it.
Well, if you're playing against Virginia Tech, they're a very physical team. I think that's an offensive foul there.
It is on Lynn Kidd, who had the mismatch.
Yeah, tried to punish Lance Terry inside and just pivoted on a spin move baseline. I think his right elbow hit him in the head.
And Josh Pastner wants them to go have a look at this for maybe something more. And they will go to the monitor.
This is a rule, you know, when we talk about this. This is, you know, this play has happened so many, it's been called so many different ways. You know, it'll be interesting to see what the decision is on this. I mean, there's been calls where they just, it's been a common foul, and then it's been a flagrant one. What's your gut tell you they call right here?
I think it's something more than just the common foul.
Think it's flagrant one?
Trying to eavesdrop here on
I'm asking before
and Ted Valentine. I think so. What do you think? I think it is.
The rule usually is if any blows to the head, there's a flagrant one. But as we've seen sometimes this year, hasn't been, you know, it's been called differently some. So I'm interested to see what the call will be.
Again, a flagrant one means excessive in nature and or unnecessary. And it is a flagrant one. Thanks very much to Matt Potter for coming over, an elbow to the back of the head.
There you go. You're 1 for 1, my man.
Thanks.
I was going to say the same with you. I was just
and it doesn't make Mike Young feel any better.
No, it doesn't.
And,
I mean, Mike Young
and it's just kind of the way it's gone for Virginia Tech in this game. A mismatch in the post.
Yes.
Lynn Kidd's not trying to do that, of course.
No, it's not.
But he ends up getting tagged with an F1 in that spot.
It's one of those things that happen when a guard is you're defending against, you know, a big like that. It just spins. It's just a matter of where you are, and it's an unfortunate incident there, and it's going to be 2 shots in the ball for Georgia Tech.
And to make matters worse, Lance Terry is one of the best free throw shooters Georgia Tech's got. He's only missed 4 all season.
You want to see, you know, Lynn there just elevate over him, shoot your hook, shoot it. You know, just comes out of the game, and coach pats him on the back, tell him, hey, he's playing hard. He knows he's giving him everything he has. And Mike Young being really, really positive with his guys.
Yeah.
Still a lot of time left for these guys.
3-17, 10-point game after Terry made both. Hokies extend pressure. You've talked about some of the offensive rebounding opportunities they've had that just haven't turned into points. We showed you the big Franklin dunk. That was off a Couture deflection where they thought they were maybe going to get a turnover, and the bounces just haven't gone their way.
Tough breaks. And this game is a long way from over because this Georgia Tech team has struggled closing games.
Yep. Shot clock winding down. Start of it. That's his spot, but he missed it.
Yeah, got to that right mid-range pull-up shot.
Mutts shovels off for Padula, who skips it for Couture. Got it! And a quick timeout taken by Mike Young. He's got 1 left, and it's a 7-point game with still, as you said, a long way to go. Come on back. Basile and Virginia Tech down by 7 in a quad 3 game for the Hokies. We told you after this, they've got a doozy of a 3-game schedule coming up with Pitt, Miami, and Duke before finishing the season at Louisville and in Blacksburg against Florida State.
Yeah, you can't get caught looking ahead. This team needs every win that they can get and can ill afford this loss. But there's a quad 2 win there and a couple of quad 1s that would look good on their resume. They're going to need to figure this out. You know, they don't want to have any setbacks there. This would be a devastating loss to this group, and for a team that's trying to fight to get back and get themselves in the field of 68.
To win this game, the path back to do it is what at both ends of the floor?
There's enough time here to get us that they got to continue to get stops. That was a big 3 there. There's no need to panic. They get extending their defense here. They just have to play solid defense here and get a stop and rebound. They have the ability to score.
Deebo Coleman's got to get it in. Javon Franklin doubled on the sideline. Mutts got a piece. Franklin saved it. Georgia Tech's got to get it over the line. Terry does. And then he's fouled by MJ Collins.
So Georgia Tech is a team that they don't know how to win yet. And as you can see there, nearly 10 seconds. Javon Franklin is not they're giving the ball to their center to help break their press. So this is a team that just struggles. They don't have a guard that says, give me the ball, I'm going to close this. And that's what hurts them in games like this. And got lucky here that it wasn't a 10-second call. They were able to get it out of that trap.
1-1 now for Lance Terry. We told you, excellent at the free throw line, 83% for his career.
And this is the guy that they won. I mean, ideally, if you're going to foul, you could have fouled Franklin or someone earlier in the possession. Franklin is a pretty good free throw shooter.
And now, how about this gamesmanship?
Yeah.
Javon Franklin and Deebo Coleman had to switch sides, and Justyn Mutts is switching with him. And now Ted Valentine is giving a delay of game warning to both sides, and this is some schadenfreude.
Well, I get what Virginia Tech is doing. You want your best athlete boxing out against their best offensive rebounder.
And Terry's unfazed.
I don't think it's going to matter because I don't think he's going to miss the free throws anyway. But if he does, you want to have your best, size-wise, you want your best guys boxing out their best guys.
How can you not love Justyn Mutts? And he does miss.
I jinxed him.
8-point game, inside of 2.5 remaining. The Hokies with it, trailing.
Still a ton of time left here.
Against the zone, Mutts lost the handle, and then he commits a foul. And is this a flagrant foul?
I think it is. Yes.
It is.
Yes. Strike call. Just a frustration foul by Justyn Mutts there. Drives the ball. Sturdivant comes over, steals it, and it's just frustration from a veteran guy who's played his tail off tonight. It's just something that he's just, you expect him not to do that, but again, it's the type of year it's been in Blacksburg.
Sturdivant only 60% this season. And this is the first. It's 2 free throws and the ball for Georgia Tech. Yeah. If you're just joining us, this is the second flagrant out of Virginia Tech in the last few minutes. The first one unintentional from Lynn Kidd posting up with a mismatch on Lance Terry. Sturdivant splits after this one on Mutts, and it's a 9-point game with 2:14 to go.
Now, why so bad? Because not only did he get the free throw, they added a point, but now they get the ball, and you gotta.
And the Hokies need a stop. Padula is pressed on to Sturdivant, who uses the Franklin screen. Coleman's had a big night.
No need to take a quick shot here.
Terry spinning. And got it to go!
Man, it's Terry with the spin cycle move and finish off the glass.
Couture. Deep one. And Ted Valentine heads over to talk to Josh Pastner.
That's one of the things you'd love to see. It's a great spin move there by Terry. Gets up, kisses it off the glass. He has been a big part of the turnaround here in Atlanta. Open up the court for his teammates with just his presence and ability to make shots. He's known as a three-point shooter, but he shows you there. He can put it down, get to the paint, and finish. This is one thing I like for them to change too. Late games, we saw it in the last Georgia Tech game at Wake, is that they stop the clock so much and they allow teams timeouts with checking scores and talking to coaches.
Mutts stripped by Franklin, and they'll say it's Georgia Tech ball, but they'll go have a look at this. Mutts insists that it was deflected out by Franklin. Ooh.
Yeah, I think Mutts won't like that one. I think it's all Justyn Mutts. What about you?
I think Mutts just lost it. And I believe the initial call will stand.
He's played such a heck of a game tonight. He's flirting with a triple-double, and I don't even think Deebo Coleman touched it at all.
Or Franklin on the left
Franklin,
side.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's coming in. Franklin didn't. I don't know if he touched it.
Does he graze it with his right index finger, maybe?
I don't know. Either way, I think it's off Justyn Mutts' left hand. Yeah.
Call stance.
Virginia Tech, you got to establish your D here. Try to get a 5-second call. Again, this Georgia Tech team has struggled closing games. So you want to apply as much pressure as possible to put some doubt in these guys' mind if you're Virginia Tech.
And even tonight, they've struggled with inbounds passes. They get this one into Kelly. He gives it up to Coleman. And Coleman's the one that gets fouled. Double bonus now, and Deebo Coleman, 68% at the free throw line this season.
But he's played so well offensively tonight, and he's working on a career high.
Third foul on Justyn Mutts. By the way, we told you that Virginia Tech trailed by as many as 16 in this game. Largest comeback by anyone in an ACC league game this year is 16. Miami beat NC State in December after they were down by 16 in the first half of that game, and that's what Mike Young's team is trying to do tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that Miami team may be the best team in the ACC when it's all said and done, and they're playing as well as anyone right now outside of Pittsburgh.
Coleman makes the second, so he splits. 1:29 to go. Georgia Tech's lead is 9, trying to take down Virginia Tech.
They got to score. They got to score quickly.
Extra pass. MJ Collins got it. The freshman steps up. Coleman trying to get it in. Fine start of it. Hunter Couture got poked in the eye. And now Coleman lost it. Padula pushes. Can't lay it in. Couture tried to follow. Padula gets stripped. Terry doesn't get fouled. Couture hunting him, and now Coleman gets fouled. Wow.
There's a lot going on right there. That was a big possession there. Thought the steal. I thought they had MJ Collins in the corner again for another 3. Deebo just lost it. Padula just couldn't finish there.
Coleman to the line. Misses on the first. Worst free throw shooting team in the ACC at 69%.
This is what we're talking about. This team struggles closing games. They're just, you know, they don't have a guy they can give the ball to kind of just say, hey, take me home in these moments. And they're going 1 for 2, and it gives Tech a chance. I mean, they don't even need a 3 here. They just need a quick score. 19
for Coleman to match a career high. Padula off the bounce, gets the roll.
Yeah, you're still trading. They're only giving up 1 point. If Georgia Tech was knocking down free throws, it'd be a different story.
And Georgia Tech has to use one of its 2 remaining timeouts, trying to key it in.
I thought it was a good call to call timeout there. They had all 4 guys, not including the inbounder, below the free throw line. Always difficult to pass the ball when all those guys are there.
All right, so Georgia Tech, you're up by 5, 42 seconds left. We've talked about the close calls. You've talked about a young group trying to learn how to finish games. Who do you trust most with the ball in their hands to try to put this thing on ice?
You'd want to get Lance Terry at the free throw line. I mean, he's 85%. But right now, you just need someone to step up and say, hey, I want the basketball. I mean, everyone is going 1-1. They're making one, missing one. You just need someone to say, hey, give me the ball. I'd like to see Miles Kelly get it as well. I think he's a really good free throw shooter, and he's shooting 88% on the year. And you just need guys just saying, hey, go get the ball, be strong with the trap. You can make one pass. At that point, Virginia Tech's going to have to foul if they don't steal at that point. They're fighting the clock as much as they're fighting the score right now.
Deebo Coleman will again put it in. Lance Terry, to your point, and Miles Kelly are the two best free throw shooters for Georgia Tech. They're both out there. Mike Young just had a conversation with one of the officials, John Gaffney, who then went to Ted Valentine, who now goes to Matt Potter. And we've had a lot of conferences here in the second half.
And this is to my point where we're talking about when the game starts. Let's see how many extra possessions or extra timeouts, I could say, when coaches are saying, look at the clock and these things late in ball games. And teams are using it, I think, to get an extra possession with the extra timeout, so to speak, gathering of his players.
Kelly to Terry, the two guys you want touches if you're Josh Pastner. He and Padula get tangled up, and a foul with 34 seconds left will put Lance Terry at the line.
Javon Franklin was called for the lob there, but I think Terry did the right thing. He's trying to take some more time off the clock and feels comfortable now. He has to go up and knock down some free throws.
Guy who hasn't come off the floor once tonight for Josh Pastner, and in the 2 ACC wins for Georgia Tech this year, he's played every single second and trying to do just that again tonight.
Yeah, he's worked his way back into shape. I mean, he came out, he was worried about when he first got back from the 4 games with the hammy of getting him back in shape. And Josh Pastner just said, hey, I won't take you out the game. You can figure it out.
It's another split, though, at the line for the Jackets. And Padula can't connect from deep. Long rebound, Coleman, and he's fouled. Boy, good look for Sean Padula trying to make that a 3-point game.
Yeah. Didn't have to have a 3 there, but can't complain with the look.
He's 1 of 8 from 3-point range for the season, shooting 33% from deep. And for the Hokies as a team in this one, 5 for 22 from deep, 23%.
I think that's the one thing that surprised me with the team this year. It's a lot. Last year you had 3 guys averaging 40% from 3, and just don't have the one guy right now doing so. And Deebo Coleman
makes both. He's got 21, a new career high for the sophomore from Memphis, and the lead is 8. Padula got Terry switched onto him, and Terry generates a held ball. Does stay with the Hokies, but how about the D from Lance Terry?
Yeah, Georgia Tech's man-to-man defense right now. They're switching 1 through 5. They're going to switch all ball screens and all action. So Virginia Tech, you want a quick score here.
Lob for Mutts. Matched up with Franklin. 15 seconds left. Mutts is pivoting. Mutts got fouled, and he got it to go.
It's the last thing you wanted to do if you were Georgia Tech. But again, they're learning how to close games. Do they have enough to finish this? Mutts with a great job pivoting, trying to turn over that left shoulder, and takes the bump and has a chance to get an and one here.
1 assist away from a triple-double. Remember, he had one last year against Syracuse. Can't stamp a 3-point play, and Sturdivant with a huge rebound for the Jackets.
Great rebound. Grant Basile got his hand on it, couldn't get 2 to grab it and put it in.
The lead was as large as 16. You talked about Georgia Tech trying to learn on the fly how to win. And for Josh Pastner, for as frustrating as some of the recent games have been, and really for how this season has gone, boy, his team has not stopped fighting for him.
No, they haven't. I've told you before, throw the record out. I think he's a heck of a coach. I've seen how he interacts with his guys, and just of competing against him, having scouted against him when coaching and everything. I just think he does a heck of a job scheming for his guys.
Whoa, and Sturdivant misses both. Mutts runs it down inside of 10 seconds. Hokies down 6. Mutts all the way, and he got fouled on the way up. So he will shoot 2 with 4.4 left.
This is what we talked about. I mean, this Tech team is just struggling to close games and to win. And I know for Coach Pastner, this 4.4 seconds can't go by fast enough.
Man.
I mean, they've been so close, so many times the last few games, and we said it coming in. This team's a tough out. They're going to be a tough out for anyone. They're playing their best basketball right now.
I'll say this about Josh Pastner, too. He is one of the great guys in coaching, just as a human being.
Yeah, he is.
And, boy, they've been through it the last few weeks. Mutts intentionally misses, but took off too early.
Yeah, it's got to
So
wait
it's
till they hit
Georgia
the rim.
Tech ball with 4.4 left. 5-point game. Georgia Tech trying to crawl to the finish line here.
It's a tough loss of Virginia Tech and their postseason hopes. They just got to, I think this dictates they got to get both wins on the road when they get home in Blacksburg.
Franklin gets blocked by Basile. And it stays at this end with 2.1 left, and this game will not end.
There's no quitting this Virginia Tech team. They're gonna fight to that last whistle. It's a 6-point game, and you're not getting a breakaway dunk on my watch, Basile tells me.
Man, you gotta love the fight we have seen on both sides, and that might sound
Credit to the
like
coaches.
a throwaway statement,
No.
but these guys have battled.
Both coaches, these guys are gonna compete to the end.
Franklin hits at the horn, and Josh Pastner and Georgia Tech get the win at home against Virginia Tech tonight in Atlanta.
Deebo Coleman with a career high tonight, 21 points, but just a well-rounded offensive game. I thought defensively is where they separated themselves tonight. They also shot 50% from three. That's big for a team that only shoots 32%. Congratulations to the Yellow